First Watch Now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
So today I am celebrating an anniversary.
You are. I mean, it's April Fool's, so this is not an April Fool's joke. And I even forgot it was April 1st until we walked in the studio this morning. But how many years, Grady, have you been on the air?
31 years right here in Sierra Vista. That's
iconic. You realize, 3 decades of your life you have had a microphone every morning in front of your face.
I really have.
Seriously, that's impressive, too. That's very impressive. And, your voice, people probably wouldn't recognize if you walked into Walmart, but if you spoke, they'd recognize you.
That happens, yes, that does happen.
Seriously, you got that distinctive, deep voice, something I've never been blessed with. But, yes, that's kudos to you and kudos to the community supporting you.
I started at KZMK when it was a rock and roll station in the Kings Court Tennis Complex. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Now that you say that, I do.
Yeah.
They had downstairs there, tiny little booth. Now you have a tiny little building.
That's right. Now, yeah. So 31 years. So I've enjoyed it. And you know what? This is one of the highlights is doing this show out of my whole career because this is fun.
Oh, see, that's dedication for you.
Isn't it?
It is.
We brought some new energy to Grady and stuff. But I understand the studio's it was in the paper that this has been sold.
Yes. Town Square Media has bought Cherry Creek Media. So we're going to have new people. There's like a 90-day period where the FCC hears anything that anybody has issues with the sale. And it's like all of our markets across the United States have been sold to Town Square Media. So Cherry Creek Media goes away, and here comes Town Square Media.
That's going to take a lot just to get rid of. Everybody knows Cherry Creek,
right?
and people are going to say that for years to come, even though it's something totally different. So I'm sure there's going to be some changes that you'll be keeping us up posted as we go forward.
So speaking of changes, there's one that we want to mention right off the bat is Fry Fire is assuming control or command of Huachuca City Fire today.
Yes, they start today. I was talking to Chief Savage this morning, and congratulations to the city of Huachuca City and Fry Fire. And Fry Fire is a very good fire department. Well received, excellent medics and firefighters out there. So we wish them well, and we hope that partnership continues out there, and it's good for the people of Huachuca City.
Especially because, in addition to that, you're absolutely correct that they are good at what they do. And it's Wildfire Awareness Week. Have to get that one straight.
That's a nice little plug right there, Carol.
Wildfire Awareness Week in Arizona. So we're getting ready for wildfires, and they did have one last night in Palomino. It's called the Diego Fire. So as of 5:36 this morning, it was in a controlled status. Forward progress had stopped. So they're going to leave crews out there to make sure that they put out any hot spots and do what they do so well. So just please be careful. Make sure that you have a defensible space around your home. I know you hear this all the time, but it just takes one spark to do that. And just moving forward just a little bit further into that topic, there was a fire in Benson on the 27th, and it was on Easy Street. I know, that is no pun intended. But somebody was burning in their front yard, and then the wind picked that fire up, and it actually burned 7 structures, and it had 11 people from 2 different homes that were displaced. So as a result of that, they have 11 people that are homeless. So we were contacted by the Red Cross. We are helping with one of the people who are involved in that. It's a woman and her caregiver. She's disabled, and she has a couple of animals. So we were able to help out for the next 3 days. Thank you, SAT, for allowing us to use the TLAP on that. But after that, there's nowhere for them to go. They don't have family, they don't have accommodations. So still working with the community, trying to figure out a way to help them get a little bit back on their feet and knowing what they're going to be doing. So reach you back to please be careful with fire.
Truly. And while you said that, the TLAP, I call it the dislodgement program for people. It's a program that's funded through our 501c Sheriff's Assist team, that if anybody that we find on I-10, their car, a family that's broken down, they have no money, we put them up in hotels free of charge to them, no questions asked. The fire here in Sierra Vista and El Camino Real, the apartment fire where so many were displaced, I know there's a Salvation Army that called me a few days into it, and we placed them folks for for about a week, I think, all these people. So, yeah, we have funding for that. So if you know somebody's in a crisis like that, let us know, just similar to what's going on. But the problem is it's not sustained into the future. What you're hitting on, that's tough, and I feel bad for those people. I wish them well on that. But it's so dry out there. It's been a dry winter. I'm concerned for the spring here. I mean, we got some rain a couple nights ago, but I'm worried about our fire season, and we'll see what happens. Be smart out there, folks.
This past week, you were at the Fort Huachuca Town Hall. Tell us about that.
Well, General Hale and Colonel Moreland asked us to do a town hall on the border. We did similar to what we did around the county here about several weeks ago, and so we did the same up there. And it's mainly the leadership, civilian and military leadership within Fort Huachuca, and well received, well attended. I met the new wife of one of the new generals coming in. Very sweet person, and looking forward to meeting him. He was not there, so he'll be taking over. I think it's NetCom. Again, if I say that wrong to all my military folks, I apologize, but I think it's NetCom. But yeah, very, very nice person. We sat and talked about 30 minutes, so we're looking forward to meeting the new general. He's been 30 years, I believe she told me, in the military, and again, he'll be taking NetCom for General Barrett, who's moving on, and we wish her well. She's been awesome to deal with, so we wish her well moving forward. So it'll be General Hale and the new general coming in.
And so also last week we had, well, we didn't. We were part of an extradition seminar that Judge Laura Cardinal and Judge Tim Dickerson put together in Bisbee. And it was an educational platform, and I think that's a really good way to move forward, because they picked the topic, which was extraditions, and there's so many moving parts and so many different people have their finger in that pie, that they were able to have, law enforcement, they were able to have judges from Justice Court and Superior Court, as well as their staff, public defender, legal defender, county attorney. They had all of these people come together and put this event on, and it was a couple hours in length, but I'll tell you that there was so much information there that we learned, and we were able to, it was in person and Zoom, so we want to make sure that everybody understands that that's a good way for the court to go. Thank you, Judge Cardinal, Judge Dickerson, and everyone who attended, but it's a really good way to educate everybody that needs to be educated, and what the next guy is doing. So maybe that could make you modify or adjust the way that you're doing business.
Well, it's I think an expectation of all our community leaders, whether you're in a city, state, even federal or county, that we work together and we bridge a lot of our programs to save money. It's efficient and it's effective. Talking about Fry Fire moved into Huachuca City, that's an efficient way of fire districts working together. From cities to districts. Again, it's efficient and it's also very effective for the people. So same as the extraditions. It's good to see that come through.
Also, last week we had a lot of bicycles in the Sierra Vista area, actually all around the county. So a big shout out to the Sheriff's Assist team.
They did an amazing job. I saw them Friday. I was busy all weekend for different events. I was out Friday, saw them out there Saturday, and then Sunday I had the privilege to go out Sunday morning and speak to all the riders before they hit the road. They did a brief every morning at Veterans Park. So I went over there, and there were bikes everywhere, 700 bikes plus there. So I went out there, met the organizer out of Tucson, and that was their inaugural. So hopefully we will see them next year at their second annual. And their intent is to come back, to make this a tradition within Cochise County here. So, and all the partners were there again. Sierra Vista was there, Cochise County was there, the different components of each government doing their job, but primary Sheriff's Assist team who gave the brief every morning. John Black gave that. It was just a well-organized event. There was no significant events, which was positive. But so I did the kickoff. It was nice to see that, and I welcome them back for next year. But again, it was nice to see all the bikes here around Cochise County, and I know there were some concerns by some people, so we're going to address those. The committee will, and make it better next year and safer next year. Also, I just noticed that Circle K is open on Highway 92. I bet you're excited about that. Grady, you couldn't say that. There's anything to be said this week that was very positive. And yes, it's Polar Pop Central right there. It truly is. So I've been there a few times. A very nice Circle K. Very nice. Well needed down there on 92 where there's so much traffic in the morning. And the old Circle K served us well, but the new one is just like walking into a Taj Mahal. It's just everything's so nice in there and fresh. And so if you haven't stopped by there and get your Polar Pop, I would suggest you do that. A nice place to go. Also, there's something in Douglas that Carol thought was interesting. It's an art cars world.
and that's going to be like Douglas, Cochise County, downtown historic Douglas.
It is. It's a unique museum that's dedicated entirely to the celebration and preservation of the popular mobile art form. So they're going to have 42...
You said that well. You said that well. She was really concerned about saying that.
I was.
That's really good. You said it so slow and articulate.
I had to because otherwise it would be bad. Soon featuring a permanent collection of 42 art cars, and it's bilingual. It's international festivities are in the works, and it's presently open by appointment only. So I know that everybody's excited to see this now, but you're going to have to call down there and see if you can get an appointment. But that's a really good way to showcase all the uniqueness that they have, and in Douglas too. It's a good place to put it.
Isn't it an old Circle K too? Was it an old Circle K convenience store that they bought?
I think it is.
I do too. And you look at the old Circle K, and people have asked what's going to happen. And I made the comment, to my wife. I said, let's buy it and put my old cars in there and make this. I just think there's something to be said because abandoned buildings are not good in communities. There's got to be a purpose for it. So it'll pop out in something good. It's a prime location. So I'm sure something good will go in there.
And something that's going to be happening this weekend, speaking of Blast from the Past, is they're going to have vintage baseball back in Warren Park. So that's a really good thing. Warren Park, 112 years old. Wow. So they've been doing this for 11 years for this particular event. So if you're looking for something to do, it's going to be busy. But that's one of the things that you can just go check out because they put on the old uniforms. They are out there. The bleachers are there. It's still a wooden bandstand, if you will. So just go check it out one time.
It's really cool. I've been there. I've been there. I threw a pitch out one of the games here several years back, but it's really neat. I mean, it's nothing you've ever seen, and well, maybe you have, but most people have not seen that. But it's just old vintage ball, the way they play, and a lot of them don't even wear gloves. I mean, it's just, as they do, they got the old pad just on their hand, and it's a pretty impressive thing to watch. And a lot of people come out to watch that and support that. So if you want to see something different, go to the Warren Ballpark. Warren Ballpark there in Bisbee, because it's a neat event.
And speaking of classics and cars, tomorrow is Cars for Kids.
Cars for Kids. And I want to say something. Great, thank you, and Cherry Creek for putting the promos out there for us, but you can still register tomorrow. See, Carol, I've been thinking about my words now; they're rolling wrong. But tomorrow, yes, at Cal Ranch Hobby Lobby, and I want to thank those two stores for allowing us to use the venue, the parking lot. But yeah, so we're going to roll in up to 300 cars tomorrow, and we're excited. But if you still want to come down in the morning. Between about 7 o'clock till 10 o'clock, we'll be registering cars. And so I think we're pushing 150 to 200 cars right now. So we got some room yet. So if you want to bring your cars down, it's going to be a beautiful day. Come on down there. We got 20 auction items, nice auction items. We got DJ music playing all day. We have a $1,000 gift raffle we're going to give out at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We have the Buena ROTC. Going to post colors. Carol from Buena High School is going to sing the national anthem. But I tell you, this is what's neat about this show. Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 28, we put the show on for the Boys and Girls Club. This is our 10th anniversary of doing that. We're proud to do that. Cops and kids. I mean, what a nice combination. But it's worked out very, very well. So we're setting up again. We'll be setting some things up today. We'll be out tonight, blocking off parking lots about 11 o'clock. And then we'll be out there about 5:30 in the morning setting up. So it's going to be a long 24 hours. We started doing things yesterday, but this actually starts in January with our sponsorships. And I want to just hit our top sponsors if I could. Laldy's Automotive, thank you, Sean and Kate, for your support. They donate the engine for us, the 350 crate engine that we're going to auction off tomorrow. So if you're looking for an engine, come on out. SSVEC, who also sponsors this show, and big sponsor of Cars for Kids. Trans World, which works as a contractor with SSVEC. Just Kids, Inc., Mule Mountain Pest Control, Hatfield Funeral Home, Mike Rutherford, RDI, Culver's, and Barnett's Toy, and our top sponsors. So we just wanted to give them a huge shout out and thank you. And we got so many other community members, businesses that have stepped up to make this show happen, because 100% of this show goes to the kids. I mean, so we don't have a lot of bills. Everybody donates. DJs donated. Everything's donated. The only thing we pay for is a percentage of the T-shirts. The FOP kicks in on that. So come on out tomorrow. It's free of charge to come out, and anytime after about 8 o'clock, most of the cars will be already parked. Come out, take all. I call it treasures. They're truly treasures, and car shows is the first kind of the kickoff of the summer too. So come out and share some time with us. Share some time. Look at the old cars.
And also last weekend you did Men Who Cook. Did you place? Did you win?
Well, Grady, we fell off our championship.
The streak is gone.
The streak is gone. Yeah, we've been fractured. So we took second. We did a dessert. It was really good. It was an Oreo truffle. It turned out better. And I'll just say to the world, I'm not a good cook, but somehow it comes through. I think it's just the ambiance of the venue. But either way, we got second in presentation. One of my former commanders, who used to be one of my chefs. I won't say anything beyond that, but he knocked me out last weekend. So he took first, Mark Gintz and his son Jason. So kudos to those guys. I knew they'd be good. We worked the haunted house with him for 20 years, so he's very creative, innovative. So he knocked us out on presentation. We got second on presentation, but we will be back bigger and better. Once you get down, you got to get back up. So we'll be back, and we're looking forward to it. But Men Who Cook, it was a great event. Looking forward to it next year.
And something that we also did last Friday was the Arizona at Work hiring fair. So Grady, you and Gojkovic were there.
We were.
And who else was with you?
We had another officer out there as well. Now, when we did this, we kind of stepped up. We put a video out now. We've on the table, the people to watch. We also have our new brochures and flyers and stuff like that. But yeah, the detention is still hiring, and so go to the Cochise County website and see what job opportunities are there for you.
And another thing that we're dealing with, and people need to understand this, is that we're still dealing with feral dog packs throughout the county.
Yes.
So our animal control officers, again, shout out to them. I don't know how they do that job. It's got to be unbelievably difficult, and they're so busy. So they are dealing with these packs of animals that are coming around in South Sierra Vista. They had some earlier this week. They killed 2 pigs. And so the people lost about $300 worth of livestock right there. They are actively searching for that, but it's right there in the Hereford area. So people need to be aware that, just be aware of your surroundings when you're walking, especially if you have another animal with you. If you're walking your own dog, the possibility exists that these wild dogs could be out there. They're out there day, they're out there night. And we are working a situation with our animal control right now that is not a feral dog situation, but a neighbor situation where 2 large dogs jumped their own fence into the backyard of another house where a 6-year-old boy was playing, not anywhere near the fence. They did attack the little boy, and he has severe injuries. They were able to get him up on top of a crate-type structure and out of the way while the dad then started fighting with the dogs. But they got the dad down on the ground, and he has serious injuries as well. He had to be taken to the hospital, spend the night. Just bites in his ankles and his thighs and his arm and his hands, just ravaged both of these people. We do have custody of both of these dogs right now, and it's a court process that we're working on. Our animal control officer is working diligently with the courts and with our civil division to see everything that they need to do. But again, people just pay attention to your animals. If they get out, you have to be aware that you're going to be responsible for whatever they do. And then if they get out and you don't look for them or you dump them out, they're going to turn into one of these dog packs. So that's not good for our communities, and we just need people to understand that we have to address that the best way possible.
Yeah, that's well stated, Carol. And these feral animals, they're dangerous. They truly are. They're a wild animal. And hearing that story right there is a reminder to all of us. Know your surroundings. Even when you think you're safe in your backyard, they can pop these fences. Next thing you know, you got a crisis like in this situation. So I'm glad the little boy and the father will be okay. But that's traumatic. It truly is. So I know our USDA, Al, who's been working with us, Animal Control, they do an amazing job. They do. They go out there. I hear them check on in the morning, then they jump on, and there's calls waiting for them, throughout the county. So we only have 5 of them. We only have 5 animal control officers for this county. So they do. My hats are off to them for what they do. But if you see a feral animal, give us a call. Let us address it. Don't address it yourself if you don't have to. Let us address it. Al and the team have been doing very well on that.
And we put this information out on our social media, and we appreciate everybody who takes a look at our Facebook page and our Twitter feeds. We're getting Instagram back up again. We had a little hiccup with that for a while. But social media is a really important way for us to share information with our department and our communities. But also it's helpful for other agencies too. So for example, you may or may not know out there in Radio Land that Wilcox Police Department had an armed robbery at one of their pharmacies, the medicine shop, on the 29th. And some guy went in there with a gun, robbed them, took off. They posted that on their social media saying, hey, we need help finding this vehicle. And fortunately, Thatcher Police Department was able to jump on board. They found the car, they found the guy. And again, social media users were what was helpful with that, sharing that vehicle information and having people call in. So thank you again for paying attention to our social media and any other ones that you follow that are law enforcement or public safety related, because we do need you as our force multiplier. You are our eyes and ears out there, and if you see something, say something, and that's why this turned out so well.
I was listening to that incident go down, and the collective partnerships between local, state, and federal is amazing in this county. It truly was. Everybody was keying in on what was going on. They were looking for that vehicle, and I think it was within an hour, maybe hour and a half, they had this vehicle in custody through the chief. Actually, he's a good friend of mine from Thatcher PD, actually took him down and actually knew him. But the guy actually took his plates off when he went and did the robbery, armed robbery. This was not he went in and just took like a shoplifting. He actually did an armed robbery here. So again, that was a person we need to take off the streets, and thanks to our community for helping us get him.
Now, we've got Operation Safe Streets going on. We've got some questions that are being posted online. So first of all, remind us, what is Operation Safe Streets? And then we'll ask you some of these questions.
Operation Safe Streets is a multi-agency approach here in Cochise County to address the smugglers, the failure to yields that are creating huge risks for our communities. So we have come together to help identify these drivers, help bring awareness to the public, and apprehend and then the consequence of enforcement. So it's a collective effort. It's been very effective in working. And I will say this too to you is one thing we did 2 weeks ago, waiting for a response, is we actually sent up a request to the Arizona Attorney General's office for an injunction prohibiting harassment to our social media sites, Instagram, Twitter, all these and that's how they're recruiting these young kids. That's how they're recruiting these individuals to come down to Cochise County to pick up. So if we can get that injunction and they stop doing that, we've taken away their means from doing it. So between the actual physical action of going out and addressing, identifying, arresting the smugglers and keeping our community safe, we're also going after the recruitment side of it.
And what happens to the vehicles when Operation Safe Streets pulls someone over for failure to yield?
Two things happen. Number one is if there's a state violation that we address, we'll tow the vehicle. If there's a federal, all they have is immigration, then the federal government will tow the vehicle. So if you bring your vehicle or you borrow a vehicle, you rent a vehicle, irrelevant to where you got the vehicle, you bring it down to Cochise County to smuggle, and we stop you and we confirm that that's what you're doing, your vehicle will be towed.
And people are asking because they want to know when we're going to have this auction for all of these amazing vehicles, because they're really good vehicles, but you have to understand that a lot of them are rented or not belonging to them, but there is a process that they have to go through.
There's two different processes. State, we have our own process within the sheriff's office. Every agency has their own process. Second thing is the federal government has their process. So if the vehicle is seized and it goes to the level of an auction, it's first of all, it takes a lot of time. There's a legal process because people have a right to fight to get their vehicles back. And here's the other thing you just said, Carol, is if the vehicle is rented or if it's borrowed, it makes it very difficult in the legal world to sell that vehicle at an auction. That doesn't mean they have to not go through a process to identify how their vehicle got involved in smuggling. Very complicated. Again, that's another consequence. If you're going to loan your vehicle to somebody, you better know what they're doing with it. So that's part of our consequence. Let's take that means away from them too.
How can the community help? For example, see something, say something.
That you just said it, Grady. You couldn't say it any better. If you see something, say something. And this community has been awesome. when it comes to supporting this operation, to include keeping us informed. We get calls all the time. Hey, we got somebody in the brush. They're letting us do our job that we've been trained to do. They're keeping themselves safe, but they're giving that call, see something, say something, and we're responding. What's nice is your law enforcement, state, local, and federal, all working together. From Douglas PD, like I said, on the east side of the county, Service to PD, Sheriff's Office on both sides, other local police departments, Border Patrol, HSI, DEA. We're all out there sharing our authorities to bring this to a close. And I'll make a comment. I'm seeing some difference. You've seen already, we've had a decrease in FTYs. Now, I'm not saying it's still not happening, but it's not to the level it was a month ago. So we'll continue this until this behavior, or they choose another county that maybe somebody doesn't care about, sheriff or a police chief that says it's not happening here. Well, go to that county. Here, we're not going to do that. We're going to hold people accountable. We're going to keep our people safe.
And that impacts a lot of different departments. Our search and rescue, for example, it impacts our search and rescue as well as our patrol division, because then they are responsible for going out and finding people who are lost, who are injured, who are part of a group and get separated, and they just had a recovery last night.
They had another recovery last night, early evening hours. They went out and they did a recovery, and that's an emotional toll on our rescuers that have to go out and arrest this. It's an emotional toll when you have to go to a crash scene and see a young person that's crashed. I mean, look at our jail right now, Carol. We have 16-year-olds in our jail. We have 14-year-olds in our jail for smuggling. Folks, when you have to call a parent and say, hey, we just picked up your son or daughter, and this is what's going on. I mean, that's an emotional toll. I always say families are secondary victims when it comes to this. So, again, I have a responsibility as the elected sheriff for public safety, and so we're doing everything we can, and our fellow law enforcement is doing the same. So proud to say we are making that difference right now.
And we also have the National Guard helping out in a capacity with this, and in a support function. And we have amazing people that are assigned to us to do that. Thank you, Judy Lynn and Tammy Jo, for helping us facilitate that through our emergency services and getting that done. But again, having an analyst working on a radio operator, a couple of those positions working on support services, people transferring over to our support division because of the increase, and then having people work in the camera rooms to monitor that particular thing. So National Guard has been an integral part of our entire processes, not just Operation Safe Streets, but just keeping everybody able to move forward in border issues and law enforcement within Cochise County.
And I echo that. 32 National Guard are assigned to our sheriff's office, and I see them everywhere I go. I mean, and they've done, again, an amazing job of supporting us in a logistical fashion is really what they're doing. And thanks to Governor Ducey for that support, and where he's allowed them to come down here and work with us to help protect this community and protect the state. So that's what it's all about. But yeah, I am so impressed when I see him. Thank you.
And let's go to continue the border updates. You're going to be going to some higher government officials this next week. Tuesday,
I'll be at Arizona Capitol, meeting with the governor's staff and carrying some stuff up there, again, addressing this border, and then meeting with leadership from both the House and Senate in regards to our border. Are we doing enough? What else do we need to do? What else can the governor do? And people ask me all the time, why don't the governor do this? Well, I'm not the governor. I can only make requests. I can only work it. And right now, this governor's been very good to us here. And I mean, I don't think he's ever turned me down for anything, but he has authority, and people say, well, the governor can do this. I don't know. I would suggest you contact the governor's office. But again, when it comes to us and my request, he's been very good. Then Wednesday, I will be testifying in front of U.S. Congress in regards to Title 42, which is a big topic, and also the border. So that'll be in the afternoon, at least in the afternoon on Wednesday. I sent my brief in 2 days ago. You have to send a big old brief of what you're going to talk about, what the issues are. So I've already sent that in, and I'll have a written brief done by Monday, and I'll be testifying. And a lot of things you've heard on the show over the last couple months will be collectively put into a written brief for my statement on Wednesday. So again, I'm glad it was pushed to have a community voice. Unfortunately, that's one thing I get a little frustrated with is every time there's a big conference right now on border security, and that was sent to me, not one person is from a community. It's all bureaucrats, and I hate to use that word, but it's bureaucrats so far removed from a community when it comes to what's going on, from a sheriff, a police chief, a mayor, a board of supervisors. None of those people are in any agenda or even at the state level. So that's frustrating. If you really want to know what's going on in a community, get the community at the table.
And the Sheriff's Department and the county is in budget season now.
We are. We just submitted our budget yesterday, and thanks to the state, we didn't have to ask for a lot of things this year. The biggest challenge we're dealing with is the competitive market for salaries. And right now we're behind. There's not a sheriff's deputy or detention officer in the state of Arizona above state average. I'll just say that right now. We know that because we're doing the studies. But I will say this. So we're asking for a 5% increase for all our staff, support staff, detention, and also our deputies. 5%. A lot of offices are way above that already. So we're just trying to stay on the tail of competitiveness, and that really is the tail of competitiveness. We're not going to lead anything, but I'm telling you, it's a great office. The men and women that go out there every day and deconflict situations and enforce and keep us safe, whether it be in the jail, whether it be on the patrol side, investigative side, they do it every day. So we're looking for a 5%. We're also looking to up our clothing allowance, which probably hasn't been. This is an allowance that gives to our employees sworn in and the officers in jail to take care of their uniforms and buy uniforms. We don't give them. They have to go out and buy them. So that has been changed probably in 25 years. So we're asking to bump that up about $250 per person. So besides that, that's our budget. I think it breaks down to about, we asked for some equipment for our SWAT operators, but it's like $600,000 is what we're asking for. That's a lot of money, don't get me wrong. But when you look at the big picture, yeah. If we wouldn't have got the state money, all the money that allowed us to buy equipment, allowed us to do some other things with personnel, it'd be probably double that. So, again, we're excited that we're coming in with a pretty straightforward budget. Knock on wood, we'll get that going through the Board of Supervisors.
And before you go, invite everybody out to Cars for Kids tomorrow.
Tomorrow, Cars for Kids at Cal Ranch Hobby Lobby parking lot. Thanks to those two stores for letting us use their parking lot. But come on out tomorrow. We'll be out there at 6 in the morning getting ready. But opening ceremony is at 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock, and enjoy the day with us. We'll have food vendors out there. It's like having a carnival without the cotton candy. So we'll be out there tomorrow. Come out, join us, and say hi to us.
And, Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Jay from the Boys and Girls Club, and he's going to continue with the Cars for Kids.
It's First Watch on KWCD Country, and it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and if you're driving to work, please be careful. Hey, Jay from Boys and Girls Club, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
So talk to us a little bit about Cars for Kids.
Yeah, so tomorrow is our annual Cars for Kids. It's our 10th annual show that we're having. So we're looking to have up to 300 cars. We'll have food, we'll have auctions, we'll have cool gifts for everybody. It's going to be a great time.
And it's going to be motorcycles, there's food, there's music, there's raffles, there's prizes. It is going to be a really neat event.
Yes, absolutely. The vehicles are great. We're hoping for great weather. This is one of our biggest fundraisers of the year, so it's a way for you to come, have a good time, but also support the kids in the community.
And it's also, you have another anniversary. This is the 10th annual Cars for Kids, but you have an anniversary at the Boys and Girls Club.
That's right. This is our 25th anniversary of serving the kids in this community. So we've been around for a long time in multiple locations. I was a kid at the club myself, so it's great to see how far we've come, and we still have big plans for the future.
Well, tell us what the Boys and Girls Club of Sierra Vista does for our community.
So in short, we are an after-school program and a summer program that provides services to kids, whether it's arts, sports, character and leadership, education. We do all that and above for them.
So you still have the location on Paseo San Luis.
That is correct, but we are now also have a second location at Carmichael Elementary School through a great partnership with Carmichael School and thanks to some donors like the Legacy Foundation. We're doing a program there that's serving over 100 kids at that school, over a third of their school's population.
So you have one on the west side, one on the east side, and the Carmichael School. That was just last year event that popped open, is that right?
That's right. We're finishing up our second year at Carmichael School.
And that just is good because you have a large population of younger people over there, and it was problematic, I guess, initially to get them transportation over to the one in Paseo San Luis. So.
Right. One of the reasons that we looked to go over there is because we had people at that school that was interested in attending the Boys and Girls Club, but they just didn't have the transportation.
Right.
So we brought the Boys and Girls Club to them, and we have a lot of success stories that we're really proud about in the first year. But all the kids are on track to go to the next grade that we just found out through a survey, as well as over 70% of the parents said this club helps them keep their jobs because they got a safe place for their kids to go after school. So we're really proud of the impact we were able to have at a short time, and we thank the school for the partnership, and we hope that just continues.
Carmichael School is a great school, so it's been around for a really long time, but it's really a good school, so we appreciate that you're putting that on the West End.
Thank you.
And you guys do stuff like even homework tutoring.
That's right. So one of the big things we do is make sure we have homework help that goes on every day after school. And during the summer, too, we have programs that are fun for kids. It doesn't feel like school part 2 or year-round schooling, but we make sure we try to prevent summer learning loss. And that's really been a problem during forever, but especially since COVID, during the pandemic. So we want to make sure we prevent summer learning loss so the kids go into the next school year picking up where they left off, not going back 3 or 4 months from where they were prior to that.
And a lot of people might think that the Boys and Girls Club of Sierra Vista gets funding from the National Boys and Girls Club of the America or whatever, but you don't.
That's right. We actually give them a check. So what we do is, what we need and what happens is this great community has funded us to make sure we stay open and serve these kids here. We locally funded to support local kids.
And I'm sorry, it was like I just jumped right in there. So if you need money, like you have these fundraisers like the Cars for Kids, so
right.
People can donate, though, to you.
Absolutely, and the big thing right now is tax time. So one of the big things is the Arizona tax credit. So if you're single, up to $400. If you're married, up to $800. You donate that money, and it's not a trick, but you get every dollar back. So if you're getting $400 back and you donate as a single filer, you'll get $800 back if you donate that $400. Or you can lower your tax liability. You're just choosing where your tax funding goes as for the state.
That's the difference between a tax credit and a tax deduction. What you're talking about is a tax credit.
Dollar for dollar.
And when you say to your tax person that you want to do this tax credit for the Boys and Girls Club, they'll know exactly what you're talking about. And because it's one of those things that sounds too good to be true,
right? But
it's legit. And your tax guy will know. TurboTax has a box for it. You can donate up to $400 and you get it right back.
Yeah, it sounds too good to be true, like you said, but it's, we got to take advantage for the kids and the nonprofits here in this community.
That's right. So invite us one more time to Cars for Kids tomorrow.
Cars for Kids tomorrow, starting at 8 o'clock. Show wraps up around 2 o'clock. Cars, food, games, family fun. Come enjoy. Music.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Auctions.
And I'll be out there broadcasting live from 8 to 10, so to remind everybody that we're going to be there. So I'll come find you and put you on the radio, all right?
Sounds good. I'll be the tall, bald guy.
There you go. All right, Jay, well, we thank you for coming and talking to us today on First Watch. And, Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Sierra Vista Police Department, Scott Borgstad.
It's First Watch on KWCD Country, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Officer Scott Borgstad with the Sierra Vista Police Department. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you have Community Connect event coming up. First of all, let's talk about the last one you did, because you're doing it again.
Yeah, the last one was very successful. We had it March 1st, and we had 20 service providers show up. Service providers offer various services throughout the community to include housing, food, clothing. We had legal aid there, the Salvation Army, several organizations brought together in one location so folks can come to that location and get the services that they need.
And it was a success.
It was a huge success. Jay Matchett is next to me. He's with the Cochise Housing Authority, and he organized it, and he can tell you about how many people showed up and some of the successes that we had.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Scott. Great to be here. We had just about 80 or 90 folks show up. We had over 15 homeless people there, and we were able to connect over 10 of them with housing services, and we signed up over 40 individuals for other services, and we had over about 15 follow-up appointments scheduled by the end of it. So that was between all the 20 agencies that were there. So between them all, we had 565 points of contact with the agencies. So a lot of folks got connected and got the information they needed, and hopefully, if they didn't need it right then, they knew where to go if they needed it later. So. And the feedback was overwhelming from the service providers and the people that showed up. They really found it helpful and said they got what they needed. So we're pretty psyched about that.
And what does your organization do?
Our organization focuses on connecting folks with housing and housing services in our Cochise County. Right now we're focused a lot on this event and wrangling up the agencies and making sure that this comes off well and it does what it needs to do. But we're opening an office in Bisbee that's going to do something similar, sign people up for housing services and get people in the homeless information management system so that they can be prioritized for housing anywhere in the state.
And last month was the first one, and you already had other agencies reach out wanting to be a part of this.
Oh, yeah, we did. In fact, we had 20 agencies last month that came to the event. This month, we've got 29 signed up. And it's funny, your last guest, Jay from the Boys and Girls Club, we were talking to him about it. He's very interested. He might be number 30. We hope that they show up as well. But, yeah, we've increased the number of service providers that are going to be there, and it's going to be a great event. It's going to be April 5th at the Ethelberger Center, located at 2950 East Tacoma Street. The event goes from 10 a.m. till, is it 10 or 11? 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. We're going to have Better Bucks there. We'll be giving out those. We'll have lunch provided to the folks that show up looking for services. Necessity bags that have things like shampoo, soap, toothpaste, toothbrush, that type of thing that we'll be giving out. It's a great event. So if you need help or you know someone that needs help, tell them to come to this event, because we're able to connect people with the services in Cochise County and Sierra Vista that they truly need, and they don't have to go all over the place looking for it.
And is this event going to continue through the year?
Yeah, it's we've got things set up to go until October, through October, and then we'll see how things go, and maybe we'll continue further on after that.
And you just kind of mentioned it a little bit, but let's talk specifically about who you want to attend this event to get the services.
Well, it's really open at the end of the day to anybody who needs help of any kind. We're targeting homeless and people that are housing insecure, so we want people that would like to get the services related to housing. But, there's a lot of folks that came last time, 44% that said they were struggling with their rent or their mortgage. So even folks that have housing are, on the edge maybe and would need some of those other services to keep or maintain their housing. So that's another part of this, too, is we want to help people be able to stay in their home, or their rental. So because it's a lot easier to keep people in their home than it is once they're on the street, because it's a lot easier to keep them there if we can.
And you mentioned Better Bucks is going to be there. Remind us what Better Bucks is.
Well, Better Bucks is a program that we started here in Sierra Vista last October. The concept behind it is it's a booklet that provides vouchers for folks to go and purchase food, clothing, toiletries, things like that. They can be used at Fry's Food Store, Food City, McDonald's here in Sierra Vista is now participating, the Goodwill Store, and Friends of the Sierra Vista Library. Folks buy the booklets and then pass them out to people that they feel are in need, whether it's someone panhandling on the corner or a homeless person, or just someone in the community that that might be struggling and needs some extra help. The great thing about it is the booklets can only be used, or the vouchers can only be used to buy living essentials. Like I said, food, clothing, toiletries. No alcohol, no tobacco, or anything that can be used in conjunction with drug activity. So the great thing is that your gift is going towards something useful. So that's the idea behind it.
And can you just buy Better Bucks and not take the coupon and give it to one of these organizations?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, we would like you to do that. What we're pushing or what we'd like to see is people buy the booklets and then donate them or designate them to one of the service providers listed in the booklet. The idea is these service providers work with the people that are truly in need, and they know who could benefit the most from the booklets. So, yeah, that would be an amazing gift to give.
All right, before you go, let's invite everybody to your event next week.
Sure. It's April 5th. It's on Tuesday. It's going to be from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. at the Ethel Berger Center, located at 2950 East Tacoma Street. That's kind of behind the library a little bit here in Sierra Vista.
Well, we thank you for coming and talking to us today about the event.
Thank you, Grady.
First Watch on KWCD Country, and it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.